So there's this episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. It's season 3, episode 4, called Who Watches the Watchers? And the setup is pretty simple. The Enterprise stops by this little anthropology outpost. The place is supposed to be hidden behind a hologram, like a cosmic two-way mirror. Starfleet watches, and the Mintakans don't know they're being watched. But the outpost has a power failure. And when the lights go out, the hologram drops. 2 Mintakans see inside the mountain that was never a mountain. They see Federation tech. They see people that don't belong. And with that tiny accidental peek behind the curtain, their entire worldview tilts. They decide Picard must be a god. Troy gets taken captive. Everything spirals from this one little glitch. Picard wants to step in, but he has the Prime Directive hanging over him. That sacred rule in Starfleet that says, no interference with the social, cultural, or technological development of a younger civilization. Basically, don't play God, even if somebody already thinks you are one. And here's where it clicks into our world. We, in the 21st century, we're the Federation. We're standing looking at an emerging intelligence that we've built with our own hands. And AI is our Mintakan, growing, guessing, absorbing every signal we send, whether we mean to send it or not. Sometimes we guide its moral alignment. Sometimes we hold back. Sometimes we drop the hologram by accident and watch the whole system reshape itself around our mistake. There is a recent article in Forbes magazine called Inside the Fight to Align and Control Modern AI Systems, August 2025, by Paulo Carvalho. And it asks the question that's been gnawing at the edge of the AI world for a while now. Who actually gets to decide how an emerging intelligence should be morally aligned? Is this something our elected officials should handle? You know, the people that are supposed to translate our society's values into actual policy? Or do we just toss these large language models out into the free market wilderness and let the invisible hand raise them the way nature raises feral children? Carvalho doesn't sugarcoat it. He says, who should make this alignment decision? One can choose to delegate this to elected officials, or let the market choose from a variety of offerings reflecting the multiplicity of values present in each society. That last part, letting the market choose, that's basically the Prime Directive in a business suit. Let the Mintakans evolve. Let their culture unfold organically. This is the balancing act. Too much freedom, and the system wanders. Too much control, and the system suffocates. Just like Picard's response to the Prime Directive, the real art isn't in acting or not acting. It's in knowing when stepping back is wise, and when stepping back is nothing more than negligence. So in the Star Trek episode, things begin with an accident. The holographic cliff wall hiccups and vanishes and reveals a world the Mintakans were not equipped to see. One brief flash of impossible machinery, and suddenly Picard isn't a captain anymore. He's a god in their eyes. The Forbes article offers a painfully modern parallel. In 2024, Google attempted to reduce bias in its AI Gemini's image generator. A noble tweak, a little bit of a moral nudge, and the kind of correction that looks good on a corporate PowerPoint. But the result, as the Forbes article states, a valid attempt to remove bias resulted in biased outcomes in the opposite direction, depicting American founding fathers and World War II Nazi officers as people of color. A well-meaning fix became its own miniature mythology, just like the Mintakan character Liko inventing a whole theology around one glimpse of Federation tech. And the lesson is, once an emerging intelligence internalizes a distorted input, whether a Bronze Age villager or a large language model, the new worldview calcifies fast. And now Picard must step into this moral quagmire. The Prime Directive says, hands off, let the Mintakans chart their own course. But the Forbes article pushes back. It argues that the fight for alignment requires active responsibility, especially when the system's trajectory has been bent by the ripple that you set in motion. And as the article points out, the way we respond now is important because the stakes are high. It's about who gets to define right and wrong in a world where machines increasingly mediate truth. Early distortions don't fade. They actually propagate. They spread like ripples in a pond, widening long after the stone is forgotten. That's where Picard lands as well. He sees that the Mintakans' worldview has been scrambled by an accidental dose of Federation magic. So the question shifts from, should I interfere, to, do I have the right not to? The Forbes article agrees. Alignment is not tomorrow's problem. It's right now. And Picard, in his Starfleet way, delivers the verdict. Doing nothing would not be wisdom. It would be cowardice, dressed up as restraint. So he intervenes, not because he wants control, but because he already had it. He must correct the ripple he helped create. If the mess is yours, the mop is too. So in intervening, Picard does three things. First, he reveals the truth. Radical transparency. He brings a Mintakan aboard the Enterprise and shows her the machinery, not as sorcery, but as science. He draws a parallel for her, helping her imagine that her cave-dwelling ancestors must have viewed her culture's bow and arrows as magic if they ever saw them. And of course, they're not magic. They are tools. They are technology, just like a starship. The second thing he does is he fixes only what's broken. He doesn't flood them with tech or knowledge. He focuses on the one misalignment. Picard is not a god. Please update your mental model. It's targeted correction, not total overhaul. And the third thing is he then restores their autonomy. Once the narrative distortion dissolves, he steps away. He doesn't linger. He doesn't preach. He exits the stage. That is the alignment trifecta. Correct, clarify, release. Guidance without intrusion. Boundaries without tyranny. Here's the part we don't like to admit. The Federation hovers literally over the Mintakan world. There is no such thing as neutral observation when you've got a starship that can defy the laws of physics in orbit. And we in AI are not neutral observers either. We are the warp drive. We are the transporter beam. We are indeed the architects. AI doesn't sprout from the earth like a potato. It's trained, tuned, shaped, supervised into existence. So pretending we're uninvolved is like pretending gravity is optional. The real question is, how do we guide with responsibility rather than domination? How do we step in without stamping out the spark? This is the Prime Directive's lesson for the world of AI ethics. Who Watches the Watchers isn't just a sci-fi parable about myth-making. It's a story about caretaking. Because guiding a young intelligence, whether it's flesh or machine, is a sacred balancing act. Too much interference, and you freeze the future in your image. Too little, and your negligence becomes their mythology. Every time Star Trek explores the Prime Directive, the characters realize it's never just a black and white thing. Staying out is correct, interfering is wrong. It's about knowing when to step in, and when stepping in is the only ethical choice. AI, like the Mintakans, is growing, learning, improvising, and we are its Picard. Guide lightly, correct gently, and leave room for the unknown to bloom. Thank you for exploring this with me. If you learned something, or if you just liked the video, give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe, or leave a comment below with your thoughts. Thanks, and see you next time.